What is going on? Welcome back to another week of Innovation by the Cup. We're serving up innovation one cup at a time. This week, we're going to talk about 6 key organizations you need to know and partner with as you build out your Spark Cell. These organizations are going to be key to help you build, grow, and enable your ideas that your airmen are going to come up with. First up, we want to talk about finance. Chris, over to you. What do you think is important to know about working with finance?
I'm not sure. I mean, what does finance actually do for us, right? Oh, yeah. They give us the money to buy the stuff, to set up the funds, to do our Spark Tank events, to do whatever. So a little bit about, I think we talked about SIF in another video, but the finance office for your wing or, wherever you get your money or wherever you get your money through, the SIF comes through the MatchCom, goes down to the wing, and then the wing disperses it through the finance office. So if you're a Spark Cell and you're going to have access to SIF to build out the Spark Cell and to mature it and to add things and to have a budget or whatever, all that money is going to come through the finance and whoever the finance manager is. So get together with the CPTS teams or the finance manager teams and try to figure out what's the best way for me to deal with you in order to make sure that we've got those funds going to the right places. So yeah, most definitely you need to get finance on your side early.
Yes, I think very early. Those are kind of the first folks you want to get in. I think the second folks you probably want to get in is your contracting office. Those folks are going to help you get those big level purchases. So if you're building an office building or not building a building, but building out your space and you got to equip it, your contracting office is going to be key for those large scale purchases. They're going to help you get through the bidding process, help you write your requirements, write a Form 9, tell you what applies, what doesn't apply, because some of this may be done through GPC. Some of it may be done through contracting. You just got to work through them and they'll tell you all the appropriate sources you can use, those type of things. So find a good contracting officer who's going to help you. They're also going to be able to help you later on as you start generating ideas and you need to now fund those and find those solutions. So maybe a commercial solutions offering, those type of things. And we're not going to go into all those details here, but if you want to know more, we can get someone on here to talk about it later. Let us know in the comments. But right now, just know that your contracting office has a lot of resources that can help you build out your Spark Cell. Now, if you're talking about facility, the next thing you need to know are your CE folks, because those are the folks who are going to have the buildings on base. So Chris, I know we've talked a lot about building out the Spark Cells, but we haven't really talked about where you get a building and how that process works. So how did you go through that out at Andrews?
Yeah, so for us it was pretty easy because we had found out that one of the restaurants on the base was not making any money, so FSS was going to close it down anyway. But CE really has a role to play because they do facilities or space management to identify what space is available on the base, for whatever uses. People are, organizations are moving from one area to another all the time. So you have to be able to understand, what the community planner is thinking about when it comes to looking for a space. Once you get your space, CE is going to be really key because you're going to have to run electric lines. You're going to have to run different cabling, fire restrictions. You're going to get the fire chief in to make sure that you got all the right things in the right places. If you want to take down walls or move them around or whatever, you're going to have to get all of those approvals through CE. And CE probably has some sort of contracting mechanism that can actually help you do that without having to go out and do a whole major 6 to 12 month contract let. So yeah, CE is a huge player as well.
They are, and there's actually a facilities board that meets at all the bases to determine who gets what facility on base. So it's important to know that that's happening and find out when that happens and how often, and get with your CE folks to get on that list and help advocate for a space for you. So another thing you need to do is after you build that facility, then you need to start putting all your computers, your Wi-Fi, your comm lines, your phone lines. So you need to get with your comm squadron. Okay, so comm squadrons have a lot of different resources out there that can help you, and they know all the regs that can help you get to those the purchasing of those equipment, things like that, and tell you how to do that. Again, we're not going to go into all that here, but just get with your comm squadron folks because they know what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. So after you kind of got your facility established, you've kind of got things going, you really need to start working with legal. So Chris, do you have any experience working with legal up at Andrews and how you guys have built off of that?
Oh, sure. So, some of the legal issues that do pop up are, hey, we want to contract with this organization to, provide whatever service, or, hey, can we actually, the AFI says this, but, can we interpret it correctly? And some of those interpretations might be, hey, can we put a 3D printer in here that's not going to be on the Air Force network? And I know that goes through your comm squadron folks, but legal also has an opinion on those things. You may have some environmental considerations that legal has to, take a look at. You may have, contracting. If it depends on where your space is going to be located. If it's co-located with another agency or another entity or another organization, legal may say, hey, you can do these things, but you can't do these things. We had to run, and again, this kind of goes hand in hand with comm, but legal played a role in it as well. We had to run nipper cables for the people who were going to work in the Spark cell so they could actually, have access to their Air Force network. So we actually had to run 2 specific nipper cables into the Spark cell for those machines. And those are all hardened and they're all, password protected, and it can only be used on, 1 machine or whatever. But legal kind of gave us an idea of, what was necessary for that as well. So, and also legal is really in tune with, hey, when you have a project or if you have an innovation idea, how do we go forward with it? How do we look at, either contract, or how do we, look at different things? And legal opinions can actually provide you with a great mechanism to move forward quickly.
Yeah, legal is very important when you get in there because they can find the ways that can help you get after some of these problems. But they can also identify those things that'll keep you out of trouble. Right. So there's some things that you can and can't do. There's when you get into finance, there's fiscal law that you just can't violate. That is congressional law that you just can't do. So it's important that you're going to be working with legal and your finance folks because sometimes you may need to get a legal read. When I was at Scott, we had some ideas that came in, and we were looking to spend some money on, and we ended up getting a legal read on it. And we weren't able to do it because of fiscal law. So just know that there is a lot of different things legally that you can and can't do.
And I'll say too, Brad, just to jump in again, innovation side of the Air Force may be foreign to some of the legal folks that you have to deal with. So it helps to involve AFWERX legal teams as well, because the AFWERX legal teams will be able to talk to your legal team and kind of help advise them on, the way forward for certain things, because they may or may not have any experience with an innovation center or doing innovation projects.
Yeah, that's great point. Legal folks at AFWERX have done a lot of work and made a lot of headway, and it may not have trickled down to all the legal offices because let's face it, legal offices are busy, just like everybody else. So we've talked a little bit about finance, contracting, the civil engineering, comm squadron, legal, and you've kind of got your way forward and you've got a facility built. Now you need to get the word out. This is where you need to be working with your PA folks. And I would encourage you to start building that relationship early so you can get them in there as you're building up your facility and start saying, hey, this is coming up. Start building that interest, building that demand. And so you can partner with them. Then once you get it up, you want them to start working on your ideas, getting those published out, doing articles on your airmen that are coming up with ideas. There's a lot of different resources out there, and your PA is just vital for getting the word out and helping you grow your innovation space. There's a lot of different things you can do. But Chris, what have you guys done with PA that have been successful out at Andrews and helped you really grow your program?
And we've actually created a communications plan where PA was heavily involved in saying, hey, this is what we want to do. And they realize it's not oh yeah, you open up a Spark cell, okay, we're going to take some pictures, write an article, and that's it. No, it's a constant role. It's a constant push, to the point where we actually had the wing commander do his weekly or monthly Facebook Live events or whatever from the Spark cell. So, and you can see the Spark cell of ours in the background, in my background. So, you know, the wing commander and the chief would be there talking about things that are happening on the base inside the Spark cell. They would do other events. We would have visitors. So you know, the chief master sergeant of the Air Force would come and do certain things. And we host mission partner briefings. So mission partners are around. So they come to the space and they go, oh, wow, what's going on here? And they get a small 5 or 10 minute tour, you know, before their briefings, so they know what's going on. So it's really, really helpful to have public affairs involved, as well as you know, making sure that your Spark cell team knows what a communication plan is.
Yeah, it's important to think through that, because if you don't communicate right, your messaging doesn't come across right, you're not going to get the effect that you want. All right. So come to the end of the episode this week. Again, short episodes. We want to cover just the surface of these topics. But if there's something you want to know more about, whether it's finance, contracting, CE, CS, legal, or PA, let us know. We can find reps who can come in and tell you what you need to know, a little bit more of a deep dive on those subjects, and we're happy to do that. Also, check down in the links to the SparkCell site. If you want to get involved, there's a join now in there. We're going to be putting more resources on there for you guys, and want to really build that out for you. There's some big plans for that maybe coming up, but we won't reveal those just now. And so with that, we'll catch you next week, and innovate one cup at a time.